How could the Christians claim they believe Tanakh and every word of it, and also believe that Yashka is Messiah, and also believe that Yashka is the Son of God with no father, if we know clearly from Tanakh?
Christianity is not powerful because they believe in Tanakh. Christianity is powerful, and it's the largest religion in the world because it exploits man's greatest ailment, low self-esteem. Christianity is man's failed effort to create God in his image. Judaism is the exact opposite. It's God's successful effort to create man in his image. Exactly the opposite. One is against the other. Christianity is you can't do it. You're a sinner. You're lost. And it's because you're infected with the original sin, and therefore accept the guy who's much better than you'll ever be.
If that's the case, then why are we still born into sin?
Because we have a sin nature. Our parents were sinners. As Psalm 51:5 says, I was born in sin. I was brought forth in a world of iniquity. I was conceived in sin. So sin actually takes place at conception. So at no point in your life are you without sin. And you know that if you have kids. You have kids?
Yes, I have kids.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure you never had to teach your kids how to be selfish, how to be liars, right? You had to teach them not to be those things. That's because they have a sin nature. We all have it. So we're biased towards sin. Our proclivity is to sin. All right, so verse 32, I'm going to go ahead and read verse 32. This one will not be like the covenant I made with their ancestors on the day I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt. So, like I said, it's new for two reasons. Number one, the first covenant at Mount Sinai was made with Israel. This one is made with both houses of Israel. And then in verse 32, it says, this one will not be like the one I made with them at Sinai, right? One of the things we've noticed we have history to verify it, is that Jews have accused Christians or Messianic Jews doing away with the Torah, right? And when we look at this passage here in chapter 8 of Isaiah, it says, verse 13, it says, you are to regard only the Lord of armies as holy. Only he should be feared. Only he should be held in awe. He will be a sanctuary, but for the two houses of Israel. Now, who did he make the new covenant with?
The two houses.
Right. But for the two houses of Israel, he will be a stone to stumble over and a rock to trip over. And then when we go over here to 1 Peter chapter 2, he builds on the whole stone theology. In verse 6, he says, for it stands in Scripture, see, I lay a stone in Zion, a chosen and honored cornerstone, and the one who believes in him will never be put to shame. So honor will come to you who believe, but for the unbelieving, the stone that the builders rejected, this one has become the cornerstone, and a stone to stumble over and a rock to trip over.
Right.
Remember, that new covenant was Christ. Just as we see in Isaiah 42:6, I will make you to be a covenant, right? The covenant is a person, right? Then he says they stumble because they disobey the word, which they were destined for. Okay, so it's fascinating that the new covenant is made with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Then, where Yahweh is supposed to be a sanctuary to the people, to both houses of Israel, he will be a stone to stumble over and a rock to trip over. Paul says in 1 Corinthians, and he connects all of those together. He connects Isaiah 28:16, Psalm 118:22, and then Isaiah 8:14, because it's all building a prophetic theme.
Right, and this is the thing that we see that Daniel uses in Daniel chapter 2. Where you see that the statue was actually destroyed from a stone that was cut without hands.
Right. I call it stone theology.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. Now, First Corinthians chapter 1, verse 21, he says, "For since in God's wisdom the world did not know God through wisdom, God was pleased to save those who believe through the foolishness of what is preached. For the Jews ask for signs and Greeks seek wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified, a stumbling block to the Jews."
Correct.
Did you catch that?
I did. Yep, I'm familiar with this. This is very good tie-in.
Yeah, just like Isaiah said. It's a stumbling stone to them. That gospel, that new covenant, man, that Berit Hadashah. That's why that brother just keeps dismissing JC. It's not talking about him. Orthodox Jews do the same thing.
Christianity is man's failed effort to create God in his image. Judaism is the exact opposite. It's God's successful effort to create man in his image. Exactly the opposite.
Ezekiel saw the glory of God standing above the throne in the form of a man. Whenever God manifested himself, he manifested himself in his own image. So what you call blasphemy is not blasphemy at all.